Alright, back at it with another fresh first thing in the morning video. Today, talking about weird things I used to believe as a kid. So, the first one is I used to think that animals like cats and dogs didn't have skin, they just had fur. So, I'm still pretty sure I still think they had like the organs and the bones and everything. But I didn't think they had skin. I thought instead of skin, they had fur. That's what I thought. I thought like their version of skin was fur. I didn't think they had skin that fur grew off. I thought it was just fur. I don't know why, but it took a very long time for the rest of my family to convince me that's not the case. Whenever they tell me that, oh no, they do have skin like us, they just grow fur, I just think they're wrong. I just think, no, you're mistaken. Look, there's no skin. It's fur. Uh, yeah, but I remember when I saw a bit of a shaven cat before, and I was like, what? So, yeah. Next thing. This seems to be one a lot of people got told. Bread crust gives you chest hair. Now, this really backfired. This was my nan that told me this. I liked the crust. But then my nan told me that. And I thought, oh, well, I don't know how true this sounds. Like, even as a kid, I thought, really? But I was like, I don't want to risk it. Because I didn't want to get hairy. I still don't want to be hairy now, really. Like, I just don't understand the desire. So, like, I said to her, I was like, oh, well, I don't want a hairy chest. And then she was like, oh, well, don't eat the crust then. So then I didn't for not a very long time. It wasn't one I believed for too long, but for a decent bit of time, I stopped eating the crust. I think it backfired because it's a thing parents would make up to tell kids to convince them to eat their crust. I already liked the crust. That stopped making me like the crust. And it's not till many years later when I've heard other people bring up that their parents did the same. I was like, oh, that's what happened there. I think they messed up a bit because yeah, I liked the crust and then I stopped eating it for a little bit. So I was like, I don't want to have a hairy chest. I don't want to be all hairy. But also, like, even if I wanted like to be hairier now, it's like, bro, I was like 6 years old at the time. What kind of 6 year old wants to be hairy? Like what? I was like literally a little child. I was practically a fetus. Fetus? Why could I not think of the word? Fetus. Right. Flavoured cow. So I used to think that obviously normal like white cows, normal milk. I used to think brown cows would produce chocolate milk. I then in turn thought, well, if there's chocolate milk cows, there must be pink cows for strawberry milk, and there must be yellow cows for banana milk. I never saw them. I stopped believing them at some point. Jesus Christ, voice crack. Hay fever, that's why I'm all thingy with my nose. First thing in the morning, it's always horrible. Alright, next one. So, this didn't last long either. Up until I was like 4, I thought Coke had alcohol in it. So I refused to drink Coke. I was 4, I remember I was at a Butlins holiday in the evening, and I was asked if I wanted to try Coke. I was like, no, it has alcohol in it. And then my family were like, no, it doesn't. I was like, what? I swear Coke has alcohol in. I thought they were trying to trick me to make me drink alcohol. Like they were pulling a prank. Obviously, in hindsight, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But as a little kid, you don't think that deep of, oh, obviously my parent wouldn't trick, their 4-year-old son into drinking alcohol. But at the time, I was like, oh, are they messing with me? Like they trying to, you know, pull a prank, trick me, do it, play a joke. No, well, it doesn't have alcohol in it, and I did try it. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And to this day, I still love restaurant Coke because they use like the syrup and that, so it's proper. Coke from a can or a bottle, like basically Coke bought from a shop, I think is grim as fuck. It does not taste even remotely the same. But I like restaurant fizzy drinks. Next one, pregnancy. No one ever told me this. I made this assumption myself. I used to think babies came out the stomach, because obviously bloated stomach, and yeah. I thought babies came out the stomach, which, I mean, it used to amaze me how women would just have humans burst out their stomachs and they just heal without any scarring and survive it, like some Wolverine ass healing factor. So I thought that. So, you know how we have belly buttons, the most useless things ever? They probably have a purpose. I'm going to look up after this video, actually, what belly buttons are for. So, Oh, interesting little fact. Men have nipples because nipples are developed before the gender's decided in the womb, so we get given nipples just in case we're going to be a woman. Anyway, so this is what I thought belly buttons for. So I thought what a man would do, he'd like stick his penis up against a woman's belly button, and then her belly button would open up and latch onto the end of the penis. And then the penis would inject some kind of fluid. I had this theory as a kid, so I didn't know, like, cum and semen and whatever, and it'd be white. I just need, there's probably some kind of fluid. So they'd inject some kind of fluid into their stomach, and then they pull the penis out, and the belly button will close back up, and then baby grows in the stomach, comes out of the stomach. That's what I used to believe. Now, I've got one more. This one, I only learnt about recently. This is the stupidest one, okay? Arguably. So you know baked beans, you have the juices in. The orangey juice, tomato soup or juice, whatever. I thought it was baked bean juice. So I thought like that the juice the baked beans came in was just its own thing. It was only very recently that I learned that it was in tomato juice. I was like, I remember just talking about it with my family, and like they were saying about my cousin. She was like, oh, she didn't know it was in tomato, that baked beans were in tomato juice. I was like, what? Then my cousin looked at me and she was like, I thought it was baked bean juice. So I was like, so did I. Like, so, I don't know why, because it literally says on the tin. So like, but yeah, I thought like baked beans just had their own thing. Like, I thought it was just its own like juice, whatever you want to call it, or soup that it was in, not tomato. Uh, yeah. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.